Are you looking for easy furniture flip ideas? I have about 30 of them for you. I've been flipping furniture in my garage for about a year, and I've flipped over 75 pieces. Today I'm going to show you some of my favorite flips, and hopefully you'll get some great ideas. A lot of these are dressers, but there are some other furniture pieces included. Dressers just seem to be the best-selling item in my area. My name is Carmen, and my channel is called Painted and Planted by Carmen. I hope you'll subscribe so that I can share my future furniture flips with you. Let's get started. The dipped look is one of my favorite dresser designs, and they always sell really fast for me. These are two of my favorite dip designs, and green and navy are great neutral colors. I like to do the dipped or two-tone design when dressers have two distinct sections, like the trim separating the white and green on this example. But if a dresser doesn't have different sections like the blue and white one, I then identify a natural breakpoint that is between 1/4 or 1/3 of the dresser. In this case, I use the line in the center of the drawer to divide the two colors. For shorter dressers or nightstands, I use the top drawer for the lighter color. I tend to always do a light color on top and a darker color on bottom. Natural wood and paint also make for beautiful dipped or two-toned pieces. For this set, I sanded off the old finish and left the natural wood with a clear top coat. I used one of my favorite greens, paint by General Finishes in the color basil. This set sold within hours of posting on Facebook Marketplace. The next few pieces I'm going to show you are fully painted. I usually only paint when there's a lot of damage or the wood is not high quality. This dresser had a lot of chips and scratches that I had to fill, and I removed the wood blocks from the front of the drawers to make it more sleek and modern. I had fun doing this black and white look, and even though I got a lot of compliments, it took a while to sell because it is a little bit of a unique piece. Solid color pieces typically sell well when they're done in neutral colors, like this soft gray shade. This is a set I picked up for free, and the only repair I had to do was fix the front door. This was the first time I used a paint sprayer, and if you can afford a paint sprayer, they were wonderful. I don't use a high price one. I use the Super Finish Max by HomeRite, and I think it sells for about $75–$80 on Amazon. Chalk paint is also popular among furniture flippers, and Dixie Belle Paints reached out and offered me some products to try. So this is an example of blending two colors of chalk paint. If you've never blended chalk paint, I suggest starting with a small piece like this one and watching my video where I tell you all the mistakes I made the first time. This way you don't make those same mistakes. As you can see, I do love the color green. These colors are collard greens and dried sage. Here's an example of keeping a natural wood top and painting the body of the dresser. When you do this, you don't have to sand the entire piece down to bare wood. You just sand the top and then scuff sand the body so the primer and paint adhere nicely. Now this color is brown, but depending on the light, it has a little bit of a dark purple appearance. Some colors will be harder to sell, but I actually kept this one for myself and I added some plant and nature inspired hardware. You will notice that I do change the hardware on a lot of dressers that have old-fashioned drawer pulls. Hardware can be expensive, so I shop sales on Amazon and at my local hardware stores. Modern hardware can completely transform an old dresser. It is totally worth investing in to get better sales prices. When painting furniture, keep an eye on the trends. For example, pink was a great seller in 2023 due to the Barbie movie. I used it on items that I thought would appeal to someone buying for a younger child, like these small dressers and vanity. Another option is to consider keeping something as original as possible. This lovely mid-century modern piece had a dull paint job in a fading cream color. So I just made minor repairs and I painted it with a new, fresh, bright cream. By keeping it almost the same color, I only had to scuff sand and then paint, making it a super and easy flip. One of the best sellers for me is the faux pottery barn dupe. This can be achieved with paint and glaze products. I do have mixed feelings about this finish because it is multi-step, it takes some practice, and I don't think it's the most durable finish. But it does look pretty. I have a video where I show you the steps to get this look and the products that I like to use. It's one of my first videos, so it's not great. Please be kind. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, you should just do it. You don't have to be perfect at first, and you'll learn so much more with each video you create. So I used the faux pottery barn finish to take the tall dresser and two nightstands with the shell engravings on them and make them a set by finishing them with the same color. Both pieces were in great shape, but they had that outdated orangey yellow to finish them, and by refinishing them with this look, they became a matching set. Oversized nightstands like the bottom photo sell very well. If you see some for a good price, buy them to flip. The top is another example of a dipped look using paint and the faux wood look. I had done this set in a lighter color on top and it wasn't selling, so I darkened the top with the faux Pottery Barn look and they sold immediately. Here's an example of how you can take a child's dresser that is in this white finish, use the faux Pottery Barn look, some spray paint to redo the drawer pulls and the decorative fronts, and have a completely different piece. And probably my favorite faux wood and paint look. I went for an apothecary vibe with this one by adding the card catalog and cup drawer pulls with a fun chevron pattern drawer liner. This set got a ton of views, lots of compliments, and multiple offers when posted on Facebook Marketplace. I think I paid about 40 for the set and sold it for 400. It wasn't a super high quality dresser set, but the design stood out from the other items available for sale in my area. Now you can use the glaze and paint technique in other colors. For example, this is a gray paint and black glaze combo that looks great on French provincial pieces. Just make sure that you use a durable top coat like polycrylic. As I have learned more, I've become more interested in restoring instead of painting vintage and antique furniture. But sometimes paint can be used to hide damage and accent the natural lines of a piece. For example, this tall boy with a waterfall top had a lot of veneer damage on the bottom drawers and sides, but I absolutely loved the wood grain on top. So I came up with a design to use paint to emphasize and follow the wood grain while hiding the damage and giving it a cool Art Deco look. These dressers typically don't sell for a lot, but this was grabbed up by a buyer for their Airbnb. This one also used paint to cover damaged areas, but kept the natural wood on the drawers and top. I just love the grain pattern on these drawers. This one also sold really fast, and I used the color Lamp Black by General Finishes. The next few furniture flips are mid-century modern or vintage pieces. I just love mid-century modern furniture. I have found a couple of what I call blondies that have this white kind of yellowish paint. I've discovered that you don't know what wood you will find underneath it, and it's very hard to remove. The stripping process for these blondie pieces is a multi-step process because the paint gets in the wood grain. But if you have the time and the patience, it can be totally worth it. I think this is one of my favorite pieces with the refinished wood and black paint accents. I chose to do a painted accent because getting the paint stripped from those curved pieces would have been very hard. So sometimes my designs are based on practical reasons versus aesthetic reasons. This is another one that was a blondie, but when I started stripping the drawers, I realized the wood was not the best quality, and you can see that the wood finished drawers are a bit blotchy. So I painted the majority of it. It's not my best, but I learned a lot on this one, and the couple that bought it loved it. Another one of my favorite combos when I find a piece that has beautiful vintage wood in good shape is to use a creamy white paint to complement the wood tones. By sanding off the old finish, adding a new finish, and just painting the drawers, it's a fun way to change up a piece without a lot of time or effort. This is another one that I did with that natural wood and creamy white paint. I like to use General Finishes Antique White and add a little bit of their color Millstone to slightly darken it. This dresser was a makeover for an Instagram contest, and it was designed around the book Anne of Green Gables. Check my videos for more about the design and a peek at the gorgeous drawer liner that I found. I also tried resin casting for this project. The leafy design on the top drawer was made with resin from the craft store and then painted a light green and applied with tight bond glue. Another fun way to make over a piece of furniture for a truly one-of-a-kind look is using resin pieces. This is a great example of how changing the stain color in hardware can transform a piece of furniture. This amazing dresser looked really dated with orangey tones and heavy hardware. I sanded, did a paint wash on the drawer fronts, which is 1/3 tan paint and 2/3 water, and then finished it with a wood glaze to darken the tones. The new sleek brass hardware was the finishing touch. Picked this piece up for free and sold it for $650 because it was such a quality piece of furniture. I did a similar technique with this 1980s Bassett dresser set my neighbor gave me, but I also added Cain webbing to the door fronts and a cute boho wallpaper on the hidden inside drawers. Cain webbing is a great way to change the look of the drawers, and the wallpaper gives it some fun character. I did this kind of a modern rustic finish, and I had multiple buyers, and the actual buyer drove over 2.5 hours to pick it up. Now, there's a lot of painted furniture for sale on Facebook Marketplace, and some of it was not painted with quality processes or paint. I saw this mid century modern dresser that was finished in this, what I can only call mac and cheese color, and I wanted to restore it to its original wood finish. Taking off paint is a ton of work, and I would not recommend it until you know that you love refinishing furniture and you have a lot of time. Luckily for me, a lot of the paint peeled off, but I had to use a wire brush and acetone to get all the paint out of the grain, and that took forever. However, the results were totally worth it. I love this piece. Watch the video to see the process. Another tip that I want to share with you is to always research your older pieces before painting. So I did a Google search and found out that it is a collectible piece from the 1930s that was a collaboration between a furniture company and a famous architect, and these pieces sell for over $1,000 at auction. So I restored the finish and I kept it for myself. But man, I would have felt terrible if I had painted it and then discovered what it was. Stencils are a fun way to add character and show your creativity. This small dresser came from Goodwill, and I used paint and stencils to make it a one of a kind custom piece of furniture. And of course, I used a plant themed stencil because I love plants. I have a full length video showing you this process from start to finish. Stencils are also a great way to hide damage. This vintage sewing desk had badly damaged veneer on the sides. I removed the veneer, but instead of getting replacement veneer or replacing the wood side altogether, which is very expensive, I found a stencil at Walmart and I used Venetian Plaster by Up Paints, which is sold at Michael's craft store, to add stencils that are textured so they hide the damage. On the small table, I used a gold paint to stencil and hide blotchy damaged wood finish, giving it a great vintage look. A young man bought this for his mom for Mother's Day. I do have videos and shorts for both of these projects. Something new that is trending right now is adding paintable wallpaper to furniture. Watch my video to see me test out 3 different types of adhesives and the process I used to add paintable wallpaper to this cute cedar chest. I hope you enjoyed this tour of my favorite furniture flips and got some great ideas for your next dresser makeover. Most of these are beginner friendly, and if I can do this in my garage, so can you. Please subscribe and let me know in the comments what kind of furniture tutorial videos you would like me to make for you.